Hi, I'm Patricia Bakosh with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Chicago. I'm here today with my seller, Matt Bakosh. He's going to help me and you walk through the process of closing so that we all can be aware of what happens actually at a closing table or the sale of your home. It means who's giving you the money as a seller, how much they're offering you, and what the terms and conditions are. To go from here into contract, I'm going to share that with my seller here today.
How you guys doing? My name is Matthew Bigacars. I'm here today to close on a house. So I'm excited to get that check. Been working on it for a long time.
Good. So the first thing that we did, Matt, was this was the first step of the process, was going over the terms that they offered you X amount of money for the price of the house. They offered so much commission to the brokerage, and that's always negotiable. They went into what was in the house and then what terms and conditions they have for their loan officer and what they asked of you for doing like inspections. What'd you feel about that process when they went through this negotiation with you and then the process of the inspections?
Well, I was really glad to have a realtor on my side rather than doing it on my own. There's many legal documentations that I would have had to acquire. I would have had to meet in contact with the potential buyers over and over and over again. And that in itself would have been a time waste. So to have a realtor who could send me documents where it could be electronically signed made it a much easier process. The inspectors, I didn't have to go out of my way to try to find inspectors. There's a team of inspectors that they had already had, and I was able to just choose from a list, and they did a really great job. They were on time. They treated everybody that was there with respect. So it was a good process.
And what do you think about so this being done, the contract is to be closed soon. Today is our closing day. And we were very thankful that there was a team involved. Title companies make sure that the deeds process, that the house is clear, that there's no encroachments on the properties or the surveys. These are all things between the title company and the attorneys and the realtor that are all behind the scenes that happen with the and then the loan also coming to finalization today, which brings you to your payment statement. The payment statement has a couple different names. Sometimes it's called a HUD, sometimes it's called an ALTA. So if you hear either terminology, just know that it means that you're getting a paycheck. But the offer price is one price, and then you get a paycheck, or you get your money for the house being sold. The offer price is then broken down on both sides between what you're going to be paying out and what the buyers are going to be having to contribute to get the house sold as well. Once the buyer's money clears, the title company will then cut you a check for your proceeds. Again, everything's broken down to all the different fees. There's transfer fees depending on towns and counties. We're in the state of Illinois right now, and Illinois pays their taxes like 1 year behind time. So it's always you owe 1 year's worth of taxes plus whatever you negotiated on the contract. Most of the time, we do anywhere between 3 and 5% in addition that we ask the sellers to pay to keep that money in escrow so that when next year's taxes are due for that seller who hasn't lived there, or the new buyer that hasn't lived in the house for a year, they have in their escrow the money from when you lived there. And that's why you have to pay your taxes all of last year, plus up till today. So many days in a year, they divide that up and you have to also pay that amount of taxes.
What makes sense?
Questions on that?
No.
Okay. Then we have just the city transfer taxes, the state transfer taxes, and the basic fees, again, are all broken down on this. You usually get this one day before closing. And you can do some electronic signing in advance. So those two things being done, and we get to sign a bunch of contracts and papers today with the attorneys. Once all that process is complete, you get your payout check. What do you think about that?
So as far as the negotiations went, again, I'm glad that I had a team on my side. They were able to, within minutes and legally, because I mean, who at the end of a sale wants to go ahead and fight a legal battle in courtroom because of a misspelled document? We had the negotiations. Well, we went back and forth and back and forth. So we had 4 different negotiations in a matter of 2 days. So everybody was on top of what needed to be done. That was again worth the money spent to have a realtor team. And then what you explained to me about the different titles and the different fees or what goes where. I don't know where I would have been able to get that breakdown without having a realtor team behind me as well. So I'm glad that I chose to not sell it on my own.
Good, because I was curious about that. So when we initially met and we started the process, you were thinking about selling this on your own, correct?
Was and I didn't want to spend that extra $5,000 in my house bracket. The way that the law works, it was about $5,000. I didn't want to spend that extra $5,000 to open and pocket that money, but at the end of it, I'm glad I did.
And did you end up making anything beyond what you thought you would make by using the realtor, even though it costed realtor fees?
Oh, well,
You don't have to give the exact figures, but did you make more than what you thought you were?
I would say that it was within reason.
Okay. So it was worth having the realtor to have the less stress, and also you made what you wanted to when you were walking away from the sale of your house.
Yes.
Great. That is awesome. I want to thank you, Matt, again for letting me be your realtor and trusting me in the whole process. And I am here for you as well. If you're selling or buying your house, every transaction is unique. And you can reach out to me, Patricia Baykosh, with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Chicago, 630-927-5151.